It's been a pretty good spring for us up to this point. We had a really good trip down to North Carolina and down to South Carolina to start out the year, and then we played the Rutgers tournament in Virginia, and we came out and posted our 2 best rounds of the season up to that point. So the girls worked really hard in the off season indoors up in the dome, and that translated to a pretty good spring break trip. And we've had some pretty unpleasant weather for most of our tournaments when we got back, but we've really been pretty consistent throughout the spring season. We won 2 tournaments, which were the first 2 tournament victories in women's program history, so that was pretty exciting for some of our upperclassmen especially. Michaela Rodriguez is going to be our number 1 going into the MAC championship. She's been everything you could ask for as a coach and a player for the last 5 years. Just very quiet leader, does the right thing on and off the course. That's a really good example for the girls. Really hard worker, and her scores have gotten better and better each year that she's been here. She just missed out on being all MAC last year, so that's been a goal for her this season, and she's playing pretty well going into the championship. We'll have Joyce Jong playing number 2. Joyce has a tremendous amount of potential, and she started to tap into that this year. I always tell her that she knows how to hit the golf ball, and she just needs to learn how to play golf. So just a lot of situational shots and when to hit what club, and a lot of work inside 120, 130 yards for her, because she has a lot of shots from that yardage with scoring clubs. So she's had a pretty steady spring for us since we've gotten back from spring break. She's developed nicely, and I think she can have a pretty good weekend going into championships. Gabby Smalley will play number 3 for us this weekend. Another one that's had a pretty consistent and pretty strong spring. Bria Paigot will play 4. She's come a long way in the last year, and then she made another pretty big jump over the winter too, where she's consistently shooting in the 90s for us this year. So I think that she's in a pretty good spot with her swing, pretty good spot with her short game. So I think she can really have a strong showing this weekend. And then our 5th will be our first year, Gullah White. She's been very steady. This was her first year of tournament golf really, but she's got a very athletic swing. She's just a natural athlete. She shot in the 80s several times this year, so I think that potentially she could be a top scorer or a second scorer either one of the days at MAC Championship. So I'm excited to see what she does in that environment, and not just for this spring, but also looking ahead for 3 years as well. I think she's going to be a pretty good player for us. So we've got a lot of different looks at Golden Oaks. We hosted a 2-day tournament there in the fall. We played the MAC preview at the end of March. The girls were up there last Saturday for a practice round, and then we'll have the tournament practice round this Friday. So we know the course pretty well. It's a course that we typically play pretty well at. So I think the team's pretty confident going into the weekend. And our goal is to just go out there, make confident swings, and play the best golf that we can championship weekend.